Alright guys, Maik Wiedenbach here from New York City, giving tips today about Charles Poliquin, okay? The Poliquin principles. Since he just passed, I figured it might be a good moment as any to talk about him. I don't know why he died, and neither do you, so stop asking. Why was he important? Because he brought science to bodybuilding. So he was, whatever you have today, like Schoenfeld and so on and so forth, he was one of the first guys to look into training scientifically. Because as I talked in earlier videos, bodybuilding is basically a free-for-all. It's always like, yo, this guy over there who's really big, he does that. That's what I'm gonna do. Well, not so much. So, Poliquin realized a lot of bodybuilding is bro science. Like, yo, muscle only once a week, otherwise you overtrain. Nonsense. Crappy reps build muscle. No. Beast mode. No. So he did the following. He defined how many reps you should do. So in not so many words, he said, don't go below 6, don't go above 12, but he also realized that the rep number directly relates to the difficulty of the exercise. So let's say clean and press, you're probably gonna only do 6, but more sets, whereas on the leg press, nothing bad's gonna happen, God willing, even though I saw a video the other day where somebody, anyways, that's neither here nor there. You can go higher reps because the chance of actually injuring yourself or failing are much lower. He also defined the proper rep, meaning, take a controlled tempo on the way down. Don't, none of this, but take like 1, 2, 3 seconds down, hold the contraction on the top. He also defined the concept of technical failure. So basically, on a curl, if I start moving my arm away from my lat, that will be technical failure. Whereas in the bro science, this would be failure, okay? But this will blow you out. Another thing he tackled was the pyramid. So in weightlifting or bodybuilding, it's always like we go from 70 to perceive 100%. And that's actually complete nonsense. Because think of any other sport. Let's say you're a runner and the coach says, guys, today we're doing marathon all the way to 100-meter sprints. Be like, which one is it gonna be? Right? So you would pick a certain speed, work for like 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, and then move to the next level. Poliquin also defined how many sets you should do by looking on a weekly tangent, which goes hand in hand with like training each muscle twice a week. So that was revolutionary. He also broke what I call carbophobia in the late 90s, when everybody was like, yo, low carb, Atkins, this, that, the other. He said, actually, carbs are great for 2 things: performance and recovery. So eat them before and after your workout. In terms of supplements, he later on became very, shall we say, esoteric, but at first his base was vitamin D, magnesium, multivitamin, probiotics, and creatine, which is a very solid base of supplements. Of course, later on he made his own that were much better, much more expensive, all that kind of thing. But up until then, that was his base. His training principles were also interesting. So he developed the Kaizen principle, where you basically add tiny weights, magnet weights or so, to dumbbells and get stronger over time. He was a big believer in progressive overload in proper form, and this gets always misconstrued within my videos also, that people think I don't believe in progressive overload. I just don't believe in shitty reps just to lift heavier weights, okay? That's a different story. He came up with the post and pre-exhaust sets, especially for arms, and there will be a separate video where we just do practical stuff. He was, verified of his time. And lastly, he developed what's called the, we could say, mechanical drop set. So, if you think of what he did for the easy bar, like going to the forehead, to the bridge of your nose, and to the chin, or doing an incline curl, a regular curl, and a hammer curl. So as for cliff notes, Charles Poliquin brought light into the darkness. He went from, let's just do whatever the biggest guy does, let's think about this and establish a parameter of progress. So he narrowed the pyramid from, like I said, 70 to 4%. He figured out what's the proper rep, how many sets you should do, and how you should apply them on a weekly basis. So I think there can be something learned, and I recommend you look into his books or my videos. Maik out.